Welcome back to Karl and Karlsson Garage.
Hello.
We are right now in the AAN heading to my garage. So the plan is to give an overview of all the engine parts that go into building my Audi's engine. In the first video you guys actually saw an Audi S4 that has been sold, and I bought a new one.
Already?
Already, yes.
Why did you choose the S2?
Actually, the reason was that the S2 aligns with my plans a little bit better. So it's a smaller chassis, so it's lighter than the S4. So basically, the S4 was a moving fridge on wheels, and that's why I sold it, because the S2 I can take to maybe racetracks, maybe do drag racing, and be an all-purpose racing car. Well, I'm still gonna drive it on the streets, but basically because of the weight. So yeah, I have collected the engine parts, I think, for a year already, and finally I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. So so I think even this week I will take all the engine parts to the guy who is building the engine for the Audi. This time, unfortunately, we will not get a build video like we did for the Lada.
Should do it ourselves.
I don't feel that confident yet.
How hard can it be?
No, yes. But this engine costs just a little bit more. So
we've already done one engine. How much different is this one? Just one more cylinder.
True. Just one more cylinder. So just a quick overview. This is the inline 5 engine from Audi. The engine code is AAN, and very similar engine came with the S2 as well, but I bought the car without the gearbox and without the engine. The plan is to make up around 600 wheel horsepower. So the turbo of choice is Precision 6062. The turbo is going to be pretty big, but I mean not as big compared to what guys in the US are running. So they are running like 70, 80, 90 millimeter turbos, or even 100.
How many original parts go in?
That's actually a really good question.
Block at least.
The block is original, but it's machine. The cylinders have been bored to 1 millimeter larger.
What clutch goes in? Racing as well?
No. Well, it's a racing clutch, but I mean it's no 2 or triple disc. So I still want to drive this car on the road. So it's a 1 disc clutch, but 6 pads. It should be good for like 700 to 750 Newton meters.
And you can still take off normally.
Yeah, I can still take off normally. Exactly. I don't have this on-off clutch.
What else is there? All the electrics. A lot more sensors everywhere.
Yes, a lot more sensors than from the stock, but I think we're gonna cover this subject in the video as well. Okay, enough talk. We are going to reach my garage soon, and I guess we'll cut to the video of us sorting some stuff. Okay, we have finally laid everything to the ground, and here are a bunch of Audi parts. So this everything should make up my Audi's engine. Let's start from what's missing on the picture. So missing is turbo, exhaust manifold, valve cover, which is currently being painted, intake manifold, and basically that's it.
And the car.
And the car, exactly. Oh no, how could I have forgotten that one? Let's start maybe here and go through it. Okay. Here is so it's a stock AAN engine crank, and yeah, then I think here are the main caps. Here are some camshaft caps, I think some nuts and bolts for the camshaft. Here are some exhaust manifold studs. Here I think here are the lifters, stock INA lifters, should be pretty good. Here are the camshaft sprockets, so these will be changed out. These can be adjusted, so the exhaust and intake cam can be adjusted separately. So this is for the extra. Here is a billet crankshaft timing belt pulley. So for the AAN engine, these are really notorious to fail under high horsepower load. So this is the one part that definitely needs to be swapped out. This is the adjustable camshaft sprocket pulley. Also a really popular part for the performance builds for these engines. So adjustable in every way.
Is that scratchable like lottery ticket? You can scratch one off?
It should be pretty tough. Here are some camshafts. So these are from the 7A engine, which is from the factory naturally aspirated. These ones help the engine breathe a little bit better on the low end. Here is the most expensive part from the whole list over here. So this is the AAN cylinder head. It's fully rebuilt and also has some modifications from stock. So
what's done here?
Everything. But if we flip it around, all the valves are new. Valves are OEM. Valve seals are new. I have FCP double spring. Surface has been machined and the chambers have been CNC ported. So the shape has been changed a little bit. I think the biggest change here is the oiling part. So actually the stock locations have been blocked off. So new oiling canals have been drilled for this head to improve the head's oiling system, and this is because under high horsepower, under high load, I think the number 3 cylinder is notorious to fail because of low oiling, and that's why the oiling system for this head has been changed. And when installing the head, actually the oil pressure line will be teed off from the turbo one and just connected to the head here.
So that this place has been here in factory, but they don't use it.
They don't use it, and now it has been drilled out. Engine block. So the owner that I bought it from painted it a real ugly blue color. So me and Carl actually taped it off and painted it black. So from the bolt holes you can actually see it was this ugly blue color before.
And from here as well.
Yeah, and the tape is still on to not get any bigger particles, but it will be cleaned off anyway when assembled. So here is a oil cooler, but I think my Audi already had an oil cooler, so this will be a spare one. Here are the ignition coils. So I think it's some S5 or S6, the FSC engine, so the 3 liters. Some sensors, and then the küünlad. Spark plugs.
Candles.
Yeah.
And then the candles.
The candles, yeah, küünlad. So küünlad actually in Estonian is these spark plugs. Some sensors. Okay, moving on. This actually belongs with the girdle plate. So this is the block centering plate. It will keep the block more rigid, turning maybe higher RPM action and under a heavy boost. So yeah.
So this is like a strut bar for the engine block, pretty much.
It will be bolted onto the main caps.
And the oil pan has been modified as well.
Yes. So this is the plate that goes into the oil pan, which keeps the oil under one side. So when you're coroning hard, the oil sump, which is actually here, doesn't get dry, and the engine has enough oiling.
That's a good thing to have.
Exactly.
Oil in the engine.
Really, we know firsthand that it's a really good thing. So moving on, the engine will be controlled by Max ECU. So this is the race version. So the best one is Pro version. I got the race one, which actually they make a kit for the AAN engine. So I have plug and play stuff. So this is adapter for the AAN harness.
No fun.
No fun sometimes equals reliability and easy install. And there's a really great aftermarket support for this ECU and for Audi inline 5 engines, so that's why I chose it.
What's on the USB stick?
I think it's the default tune for the engine. So this kit, as I bought it for the AAN engine, it has some default tune, so I can start it up at least, and at least the car is rolling. So I think that should be on there. Here is, I think, the only replica or Chinese part that will go on the engine.
Oh, going cheap!
It's not the cheapest one that you can get, but it's a turbo smart blow-off valve. This is not the big boy stuff, but it should be enough and work really great. So actually the wastegate will be TL's original, so that will be, I think the more important one is the wastegate, and that will be the OEM, like the real deal.
Change the pressure.
I have some.
I think there are some inside already.
There are some inside already, and I have a big boy spring here.
So you can combine them and find your
default pressure.
Yeah.
Here is a boost controller. So this one will be controlling my wastegate and probably blow-off valve as well, I think. We'll see how we will wire it. Then I have some sensor cables. This is the crank trigger kit. So usually from the factory these engines will have a small knob on the flywheel. I think maybe we can show it here.
So what is it? Crankshaft position sensor?
Yes, this is a crankshaft position sensor, but it's like a digital signal, not like analog. I think if we flip it around, it has been taken off already.
Yep, that hole there.
Yeah, this hole here, but it was taken off by the machine shop, so I actually don't need it anyway. Okay. Here is usually an OEM little stud that goes around and that says like in what position the crank is in.
Yeah.
But that's like the elimination kit and makes the tuning a little bit more easier if we have a nice signal from the kit. Then I have 5 EGT sensors.
What's EGT sensor?
EGT is exhaust gas temperature.
Okay.
So it's possible to measure every cylinder's performance to see if we're going lean or we're going too rich, and adjust each injector separately. That's a really good deal because the intake manifold is a whole one piece. So maybe the farthest cylinder will get a little bit less air, so it's possible to compensate it. That's why it's good to have 5 EGTs. Then we have some injectors. So these are made by our neighbors, Finjector, so from Finland, 1500 cc. So these are the last ones that we can get the idle correct. So if I go any bigger, my idle will suck. I maybe want to daily drive this car, so if I have an idle at like 1500 and 2000, then it would really suck to drive it around.
Can you have double injectors?
Yes, actually you can, but then I will need a really custom manifold for it, and I don't have it. Then is the coil pack wiring harness. This is also custom made from by some Estonian guy. Then we have some coolant hoses. These are also strengthened and should be good enough to handle the horsepower we're going at. Moving on, head gasket, oil pan gasket, timing belt, exhaust manifold gasket. Here is the Sachs pressure plate with 7A flywheel. So the flywheel has been balanced, lightened, and to match the pressure plate.
So it's all balanced together.
Exactly.
As you can see, it needs to go together.
Yes. So actually,
like
yeah, for this engine, the whole bottom end is balanced together. So the crank, pressure plate, flywheel, all the stuff that goes on the crank. So the crank sprocket for the timing belt as well. So these are like all one assembly and balanced together, and it's done for this already. So this is the Sachs 6-pad clutch disc, which should be good for, I think, 750 Newton meters. Enough where we're going with this for now. Then we have some gaskets and seals. Now here is the fun part. So here are the JA pistons, which are really nice, and they are also fully balanced already. So
with
good.
valve guts.
Yep. Looking good.
You have one extra.
No, Karl, it's not a Lada engine. I have 5 cylinders. Then we have FCP rods also, already balanced by the machine shop. Let's take one out.
Looks heavy.
Pretty nice one. So these are the H-beam rods,
so that's
with ARP bolts. Then we have ring set. Then we have a refurbished oil pump, which is also mandatory to switch out if you're running or raising the car's horsepower. So this is the refurbished one, so all the internal components have been changed out.
But
Here are the piston pin rods. I think these are also the OEM ones and should be enough to handle the horsepower, so no need to change these, but these are just new ones. Water pump. So here is a RS2 water pump, which is incorrect. Kus mu teine veepump on?
that's not going in
That's not going in.
for sale.
This is for sale, yes.
You went past it already. You passed it.
Vaatan korra.
Anything inside?
Yeah. So this is actually the water pump. So it's the
Looks better.
yes. So this is the SKF one, which is almost as good as the OEM one, and this is actually the RS2 water pump, which has one teeth less, so it will spin faster and produce more flow. And last but not least, ARP head studs. That's also a necessary conversion. So from the OEM they use just regular head bolts, but this is the ARP kit for this engine.
Comes with lube, ultra torque fastener assembly lube.
Sounds fake, but it works.
10% more lube. Extra penetration.
What are we building here? Engine or something else? So I think this is it for the Audi engine.
All you need.
All you need to build a fast inline 5 engine is right here. Besides the turbo, as I already said, those parts, let's cut in a clip what are missing.
Yeah. No. So how much is this in like
Euros, dollars, yenis.
Yes, exactly.
So I think here we are looking at around rough estimation 10k in euros. 10 to 12k around. Okay. So I think this is it for the Audi engine, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.